Hello everyone, this is Steven from the Even Steven channel. I am very excited today because today we're going to take a look at the Beretta model of 1934 pistol. Now the Beretta model 1934 was developed by a man named Tullio Marangoni, who is just so underrated when it comes to firearms designers, because he developed one of the first ever submachine guns of World War I, and he designed one of the best submachine guns of World War II. So he was a man who knew what he was doing. And in between doing all of that, he designed some of the most efficient firearms of World War II. And today we're going to take a look at the Beretta model 1934. Now, this is something I bought from Royal Tiger Imports. This holster itself is a reproduction. I don't know of what model, of what year, but it's a leather holster. It's of decent quality. Kind of cool, but the gun basically came in the holster. The holster has some nice metal fittings, has a little pouch for a magazine. The gun fits nicely into it. A little too snug, actually, but we can get it out. The holster's cool. It's a nice little bonus. So I bought this from Royal Tiger Imports using my CNR Federal Firearms License, my Cura and Relic Federal Firearms License. We're going to do here, put that there, got a little box, got ammo there. The gun is not particularly big, so there's a lot of space on the screen here, so let's do that. So I bought it from Royal Tiger Imports. I got the gun, the magazine, the holster, and the original barrel. Now, just the importation of this gun has a story unto itself. So I believe this came out of, sure it's unloaded. I believe this came out of Switzerland as marked on here. It's not particularly, the glare is doing a lot of stuff. But it says IO Inc., which is, what is it? Interordnance Inc., which is the same thing as Royal Tiger Imports. This is basically the same company. I guess it's separated somehow. Beretta 1934C, which I don't think means anything. And then Switzerland 380. Excuse me one second. Just want to get something. Sorry about that. Now, when these guns were imported into the United States, they had to do some crazy stuff to comply with U.S. import laws. The barrel here, this is the original barrel the gun came with, had to be threaded. You can see the threads there. Let's see if the focus is working right. Had to be threaded, and then they put like a barrel extension on it just to make the barrel longer as to comply with U.S. import laws. Now, my original thought was just to use the original barrel, but it's got like weird stuff going on. It's got a lot of corrosion on there. I don't know if that's a matter of the pinning and threading and welding and all that stuff, or if it just was like that originally. So I don't think the barrel is good to use because it has a lot of corrosion on the side right here. My initial thought was to shoot both with the new barrel and the original barrel. So the gun was imported with the threaded barrel. Cool, we got it in the United States. Then the ATF turns around and says, well, now the gun's not in its original configuration because you threaded the barrel. So I guess the workaround was to put a new production barrel, a brand new barrel, into the 50-year-old gun to make it the same configuration as when it was made. Which is stupid. Come on, that's stupid. Everyone should realize this is a stupid idea. We have to put brand new barrels in the guns to make them look like they did when they were brand new for a 50-year-old Italian gun. So that's kind of silly, but that is what it is. But now, let's start talking about the Beretta model 1934, which is a very simple, rugged, reliable 380 automatic or 380 ACP, same thing. 380 automatic or 380 ACP is the same cartridge. It's just different terms refer to the same thing. Simple, reliable, rugged 380 blowback pistol. made from a lot of steel. I don't know if this is all steel, but a lot of steel. It's got a lot of heft to it. And it's kind of a small gun. Smaller than you might think. Now, as you can see, well, let's go over a couple things while I'm doing this. First of all, the magazine release is right here. And if you put a magazine in, you got to push against the magazine release, get it in. So it's got a heel release, and when you run the slide, the gun will lock open on an empty magazine. The slide is physically just pushing against the magazine. It's just stuck there. And we take the magazine out, it will pop forward. But what I want to do first is I want to do a little size comparison. So this is a Glock Model 17, which is kind of a bigger gun. It's a full-size duty gun, maybe actually a little bit too big for this comparison, but we're going to do it anyway for fun. Now this is a Beretta Model 1934. And you see, when you have them like laying on top of each other, you can see how much smaller this gun is. These are both police pistols, but the idea of a police pistol in 1934 was a little bit different than what we have today. And this isn't even like a new gun. This is like an old Glock. This is like a 1990 Glock. So the modern sensibilities have changed as what we consider to be a duty pistol. And that was just fun because the Glock is actually a little bit too big for what it is, and the Beretta 1934 might be a little bit too small for what it is. But holding in your hand, it feels like a solid gun. It's like all steel. It's kind of dense. I don't know how the weight on this gun, but it's got heft to it. Let's go through some of the features. We have the 7-round magazine. I like the magazine design. It looks cool. It has the open slots here. You can kind of see what's going on. Nothing particularly groundbreaking. Just a solid magazine with a little bit of pinky extension, so you can kind of grip it better. Magazine release, like I mentioned. A lanyard loop, which is cool. That's cool. That's a nice little feature. Trigger guard, which is very small. Like this trigger guard is tiny. Like this could have been extended out a little bit. I don't think you really lose much. But if I had one complaint, maybe just make this a little bit bigger. But no one's gonna listen to me now. The safety. This is the fire position. This is the safe position. Hammer. The sights are a little bit small. That kind of goes with the theme. We have that classic Beretta open-top design to help stop stovepipe malfunctions. The extractor is right on top, so there's potential that could flick a cartridge in your face. Front sight milled into the slide. The rear sight looks like you can windage adjust that. Maybe just push it left or right. I don't think there's any like locking screw in there, but again, a simple pistol. And sometimes that's what you need. Where do we go? Well, I want to mention the safety again. So the way the safety works is there's a spring here pushing against the safety. And there's like a spring and then like a plunger pushing against the safety. So it kind of biases up in whatever position it's in. When it's in this position, the safety is pushing up. When it's in this position, the safety is pushing up. So this is safe. Gun doesn't do anything. Actually, it's very solidly locked. That doesn't do anything. This is fire. Now, if you put the gun on safe, even when the magazine is out, the gun will lock open. The hammer is quite strong. Let me turn the hammer back. So what's happening is the safety is simply catching into the slide. It has a little bit of hook, and it's simply catching in the slide. Now, disassembly is interesting. I'll say that. So, and disassembly actually starts right here. So when the slide is locked back by the safety, you can just kind of pop the barrel out the back. Just kind of slides out. You see it has these little grooves, these little rails, and the barrel pops right out. If you look at the machining on the barrel, it has these little ridges in these new production barrels. not sure if I can show this properly on camera. It has these little ridges in it going this way that the older barrels simply don't have. So that's just a difference in manufacturing. I don't know how aware these new barrels were made, but besides that, it looks very much like the original barrels. So with the barrel out, push down on the slide. The slide release is basically just pushing down on this. The slide comes right off. And we have nothing that looks crazy. There is no like firing pin block as far as I could see. Like if something hits this hammer, I'm about to hit this firing pin somehow, the gun will go off. However, there's really no chance of that happening. There is an out of battery safety built into the gun at a different place. But it's a very simple, hefty slide. This actually has a lot of weight to it. More than you might think for its size. But yeah, that's cool. Now with the barrel out and the slide off, we can take the recoil spring out, and we can take, I guess, this guide rod out. And this guide rod is pushing on the safety. That's how it kind of keeps in place. The safety should fall right out. I haven't done it yet. There it is. The safety will rotate. Camera. And when it does, it'll kind of lock in position by being pushed against this recoil guide rod. So, Tullio Marangoni has done a lot of things with very little. The recoil spring powers the slide, but the recoil spring also powers the safety. He was a very smart man in being able to use one part to do multiple things. And it's that efficiency that I think he doesn't get enough recognition for. Now this is the frame. Nothing really groundbreaking in the frame. We'll take the grips off. I'm just going to take the left side off. I don't think you really need to see anything on the right side. So the way these grips work is there's a little bit of a hinge right here, and you got to make sure that goes in properly. These are plastic, but they have a little bit of metal reinforcement right here. Supposedly this edge is also metal. Yeah, I guess so. It's very subtle. It's a very little metal lip that goes all the way around. The fire control unit's very simple. This is actually the out of battery safety. I believe that this has to be up. I think with the parts out, it's not all working. Okay, here it is. If the slide isn't all the way forward, this gets pushed down. Let me see if I can show that properly. If the slide isn't all the way in battery, this gets pushed down. It doesn't catch properly. However, if this is up the way it's supposed to be, then this will push backward, that will go forward, and the hammer will release. So that's cool. The opposite side doesn't really, yeah, I'm not taking the other side of the grip off, it doesn't really show anything. So again, this is all very simple. There's not really a whole lot going on. I'm going to admit I'm not too much of an expert in how this area right here works. I just don't know enough. Maybe one day I'll be able to take them apart, put them back together, speak to it a little more authority, but there's stuff going on there. And if you can see, there's still a lot of packing grease going on. I haven't shot this yet. That's probably more than you would do for a normal field strip and cleaning. This screw seems loose. Also, the screw itself seems like it's been banged up a little bit. I hope nothing's not stripped off inside. I hope this frame isn't stripped on the inside. It looks okay. Yeah, it's a little more than your normal cleaning would be. I'm going to tighten this a little bit, but not too much, because I feel like people have been twerking that too much in the past. Let's see, what do we need now? Let's see, we'll go with safety. Goes back in. We're going to need the guide rod, putting tension on the safety. So you see how that works. You can actually see the guide rod move a little bit when it does that. Okay, I need the recoil spring back in. I need the slide back on. Okay, gotta make sure, yeah, I think we're going like this. Make sure everything's kind of lining up right. Good, I think we're doing good. Oh, the hammer. Wow, the hammer gives a lot of resistance to this gun. Okay, so now the safety is biased up. It's holding the slide back. I could just kind of take this and ease it in. Slowly push it forward. It's going to kind of go in its grooves. There we go, right there. It's going to go in its grooves. And now, the gun's back together. Gun's locking open on the magazine like it's supposed to. However, when you take it out, it kind of just snaps right together. Anyway, that's kind of a downside. Like, you know, as soon as you take the magazine out, the slide just snaps forward. But I think that's kind of erring on the side of simplicity. These guns fire the 380 automatic cartridge, which is still available today. They are not as powerful as 9mm. This is a 380. It's happened to have a 9mm on standby. This is 9mm. Let's see, can we get close? The bullets are physically smaller, and the case dimensions is also small on the 380. It's 2mm shorter in the case, and the bullet weights tend to be lighter. Like, so this is a 95 grain bullet. Typically 9mm is 115 grain. So it is absolutely a less powerful cartridge than 380, but that allows it to be chambered in a blowback operated gun more easily. Not to say there aren't blowback operated 9mm, but they can get a little weird sometimes. So when the gun fires, the gun is contained and made safe by the weight of the slide, the recoil spring, the hammer, and the hammer spring, which does provide a lot of resistance to that cartridge. So, you know, that's just basically what keeps it all contained. And it just feels, in my hand, it just feels like a solid, good gun. I recently did a video on the VZ50, and this gun just feels better in the hand. It just feels more like a gun. I think ergonomically it's a little bit better. The grip's a little bit high. I think today we want this to be higher, but it's not too bad. Like this feels like a modern gun in my hand, where the VZ50 felt less so. You get a two-handed grip on there without too much trouble. I'll be probably shooting this next week. I haven't shot this yet. I'll probably be shooting it next week. I have a video on a Beretta 1935 in the collection, in the repertoire at my library. I think I have a little bit of shooting video footage of that. I think I talk about shooting it a little bit. So if you want, you can watch that video as well. I think there's like 2 videos I have on the Beretta 1935. And honestly, the difference between 32 ACP and 380 ACP is not that big, because 32 ACP is a 32 caliber cartridge, and 380 is actually a 35 caliber cartridge. So maybe not the difference you thought it was. And with that, I think we're done. I definitely want to do at least one more video on the Beretta 1934, maybe a shooting video. I have trouble filming myself shooting, but maybe I'll try to arrange something in the future. Anyway, so that's it for right now. This is a really nice example. I kind of like it. It has a couple of scratches on it. This gun is 50 years old. We didn't go over the markings. Let's go over that real quick. Caliber, non-quarto, model or mod, 1934. FB, I'm assuming means manufactured, 1972. Some kind of proof mark. I showed you the import mark. That's an import only mark. Right side is blank, except for the serial number. Apologize for not showing off that earlier. The Pietro Beretta emblem on both sides. Classic Italian Beretta open top slide. I love that. And just a well put together, simple, elegantly designed pistol. So anyway, this is Steven from the Even Steven channel. Please do all like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thank you, and goodbye.